So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our Throwback Rebuild series. And today it's going to be the 2019 New York Knicks. To say this was a bad regular season for New York would be the understatement of the century. This was a team that went 17-65 and were led in scoring by Tim Hardaway Jr. By no means was this a competitive New York Knicks team. And at the time, if you remember back a few seasons, while all this was happening, New York fans were obviously very upset. But they had some optimism for some pretty good reasons. Number one, first and foremost, they were assuming that maybe they were going to get the number one overall pick, land themselves Zion Williamson, and then go out and get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in free agency, creating one of the scariest big threes in all of basketball. Obviously, those things never ended up happening. The Knicks landed the number 3 overall pick in the draft, selected RJ Barrett, and then Kyrie and KD did go to New York, except it was the Brooklyn Nets. Now, looking back at it today, maybe New York kind of came away the winner out of all of this because look where they are, look where the Brooklyn Nets are, look where the Pelicans are, and New York's the best team out of those three. So this was a very painful season for Knicks fans, and that I understand. Today, we're going to rewrite history a little bit, see if we can get this team a championship. Of course, before we do, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comments section. We are obviously, as I've mentioned now a million times, in a very, very kind of dead period of the NBA offseason. We've done a bunch of prospect rebuilds, still got a few more of those to go, but we are really waiting for free agency, the draft, trades, all that fun stuff. So anything you guys want to see, historic rebuilds, challenges, whatever it may be, let me know down below in the comment section. Let's get into this one. Before we go ahead and kind of talk about this roster and just how bad things are right now, I wanted to let you guys know in advance that although technically Kristaps Porzingis was traded during this season, it was actually January 31st of 2019, he wasn't healthy. He had a torn ACL. He didn't play a single minute of this season, so I already went ahead and put that trade through. They actually already had 2 of the players from the deal with Dallas on this New York team, and I just added the third one. So Kristaps Porzingis was not in my long-term plans here, and I think the majority of New York Knicks fans are probably okay with that. So just wanted to give you guys that heads up. Now, let's talk about this roster, because, again, bad would be an understatement. I mean, good God. All right, starting out at the point guard spot. Frank Ntilikina is 20 years old currently. Obviously, the Frenchman never really turned into any sort of star in the NBA. And I don't really know if I have many long-term plans with him. Of course, he's 20, so out of the other options here, maybe he is one of the guys that actually gets some minutes. I don't really know. Trey Burke behind him was actually, or Trey, whoever the hell that is. Trey Burke is obviously the name of whoever that is pretending to be Trey Burke. Trey Burke is somebody who's not going to be a long-term point guard option for me. He was one of the 3 players in the deal with New York and Dallas and came back here to New York. And yeah, I don't really have very high hopes. Emmanuel Mudiay, or again, whoever that is pretending to be Emmanuel Mudiay. Never really turned out to much in terms of the NBA. I actually kind of had high hopes for him when he was drafted, but yeah, I don't really see a long-term plan with him getting serious minutes on this team, and I can say that about the majority of the guys. Tim Hardaway Jr. did lead this team in scoring. He was the piece, or a piece, that came over from the Dallas Mavericks and ultimately went back to Dallas, and yeah, I mean, he's 26, he's 77 overall. He's not a best player on any sort of team that's competitive. Courtney Lee, Damian Dotson, Alonzo Trier, Ron Baker. I mean, good God. I mean, I feel bad for you, Knicks fans. Not now. I mean, you guys are good now. You're competitive, all that fun stuff. But this must have been a very, very dark time. I can't imagine. Small forward spot. Let's talk about Mr. Fortnite himself. Kevin Knox obviously never turned into anything significant in the NBA. He still is playing professional basketball in the NBA. But, you know, it is what it is. Kevin Knox he's like a tier below a role player almost. Mario Hezonja. That's not Mario Hezonja. Who is that? Not sure. I don't think that's Mario Hezonja, though. Power forward spot, Noah Vonleh, Lance Thomas. We're very well aware we're going to be bad. I don't really know why I'm spending any sort of real time talking about this team. And then Enes Kanter. Talk about a goddamn lunatic. Mitchell Robinson is here. I guess that's maybe one of the bright spots. We have a 20-year-old Mitchell Robinson, obviously still with the Knicks today, and when healthy, he's a really, really good defensive center. And then my best friend, Luke 7-foot-for-nothing Cornette. No, I like Luke. He's a great locker room guy on my Celtics right now, but he is a 68 overall here, and in all likelihood not really contribute anything. So, yeah, this team stinks. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It is just something we're going to kind of have to live with right now. So, as crazy as it might sound, I might have a few trades to kind of strip this thing down even more. A deal with the Portland Trail Blazers is going to send Tim Hardaway Jr., and we're going to be bringing back a 2020 first-round pick, top 10 protected, and Evan Turner. Tim Hardaway Jr., he was expiring. I wasn't going to bring him back, and I certainly don't want him to contribute to winning any more games. So we're going to make this deal with Portland. There wasn't a ton of offers in terms of draft picks, and obviously that's all I'm basically looking for at this point in time. So Tim Hardaway Jr., enjoy Portland. I guess I'm excited to now have a team led by Enes Kanter as the best player. I actually wanted to trade him as well. There's really not any trades here that I'm loving that involve him. Like, there's not really anything with draft picks. There's actually some pretty decent players I've been offered, but there's really nothing here in terms of like acquiring a draft pick. Like, I have no idea why Mike Conley's an option. I mean, if I was smart, maybe I would take that. Like, I do see Aaron Gordon here. Maybe, I mean, do I take this? I mean, I feel like Aaron Gordon might be a decent option for us, and I don't really have to. You know what? Maybe I'll take Aaron Gordon. I didn't really initially consider this at all. But really, if you think about it, I think Aaron Gordon could be an important kind of contributor on this team. And he's only 23. So, we're actually going to pick up Aaron Gordon. Again, it's maybe a little bit of an upgrade, or maybe just too big of an upgrade for what we're really looking for right now. But if Aaron Gordon, somehow knock us out of number 1 pick territory, I think we have bigger problems. So, I don't really know what we're doing with the rest of this team. The majority of these guys just completely stink, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the reality of it right now. So, why is Evan Turner listed as a point guard? That makes no sense. I feel like he's a 2 or a 3. I guess I'll play him at the backup 2 just because I don't have a lot of options there right now. But again, nobody's really excited with anything going on this team right now. So we're going to be bad. I'm fully aware of that. I got to trade one of Burke or Moutier. I guess it'll just be Burke. I'm looking for any sort of draft compensation. Again, I highly doubt I'm going to get a first, but I mean, I see a couple offers for some seconds. It looks like that's about as good as we're going to do. Oh, that's a first. Thank you very much, Oklahoma City. I have no idea why they want to do that, but okay. And then other than that, I don't really think there's a lot of value here in many of these players. So, the majority of these guys are going to be gone after this season anyways. So we're in a good spot. Let's set this rotation. It is certainly an interesting time to be a New York Knick and a fan of the New York Knicks at this era and this junction of this group. So yeah, no, we're all very obviously aware. We have eyeballs. We know this team stinks. What we're doing right now is tanking, and obviously we hope to do that successfully because I'd like to maybe land myself Zion Williamson. It is Frank Ntilikina, Evan Turner, Kevin Knox, Aaron Gordon, and Mitchell Robinson. The starting 5 doesn't need a ton of explaining. The game actually recommends I play Robinson 0 minutes, which of course is not happening, even if he is the lowest overall center that we do have, but potential-wise, he obviously is probably the highest ceiling out of anybody. And then Aaron Gordon going to play a decent amount of minutes. Again, not saying he's going to make or break this team in terms of the tank job we're doing, but one of the best players, probably is the best player on this team. And then Knox and Ntilikina are playing a heavy amount of minutes just because they are still relatively young. I'm not saying they're going to, blossom into stars or anything like that, but I'd rather play the young guys over the old guys that I know already suck. You get it. The bench stinks. Mario Hezonja, Manuel Mudiay, Courtney Lee, Kem Birch, and Noah Vonleh. I would like this season to be over. Let's get through it. As I mentioned to open this video, the New York Knicks won 17 games in real life. Here in 2K in year 1, we win 21. I actually don't know how this team was better in 2K than they were in real life, but that's fine. Russell Westbrook, a 24-point triple-double. He's your MVP. Luka Doncic is your Rookie of the Year. Dinwiddie, 6-man. Rudy Gobert's your DPOY. Karis LeVert, most improved. And Steve Kerr, we did this on Monday's video as well. I don't know who that is pretending to be Steve Kerr, but Steve Kerr's in 2K. I don't know who created this roster, but thanks for the laugh, I guess. All right, let's get into it. Clearly, the playoffs are not something we are going to be a part of here in year 1, and it is a safe. Oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me? There were teams that were worse than us? There's no way this team is worse than us. I don't care that Trae Young's 19 years old. There's no way. And the Bulls? Hello? I mean, they're not good, but Zach LaVine is still here. You got Markkanen off the bench. You got Portis, Wendell Carter Jr. There's no way. Oh, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. If we somehow miss out on the number 1 overall pick, I am not going to be a happy camper. I'm not. And maybe I shouldn't have traded for Aaron Gordon because we had an assumption that maybe he puts us out of the running for the number 1 overall pick, and that actually might be something that actually happened. So, solid season from Kevin Knox. All things considered, about 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, about 1 assist. The field goal and 3-point percentage were not great, but ultimately, from a stats perspective, it's about as good as you could have hoped for. So, I don't know how this wasn't the worst team in the league. I don't. I genuinely cannot believe it. But we're just gonna have to get lucky in the lottery, and if not, we're gonna have to swindle somebody because we're getting Zion. I'm pretty confident about that. Toronto Raptors win it all. Kyle Lowry, your Finals MVP. Well, they won it all this year in real life. They beat the Golden State Warriors. They beat the Thunder here in 2K. All right, it is off-season time. We are going to go ahead and hopefully get a little lucky in the lottery. That would be nice. So we got to do a couple things here. This is dumb. We're not doing this, and then this is good. Okay. Draft lottery, biggest moment of the video for us so far. We are currently projected to have the number 2 overall pick. We have a 17.8% chance of landing it. That's number 1, you get it. And let's see what ends up happening here. We stick right at 2. All right, so you know what? At least we don't have to move far if we want Zion. But there's also a possibility that, hey, maybe I go get Ja Morant, because Ja Morant's a fantastic player. And point guard kind of is a position of need, whereas power forward maybe isn't as much. So, you know what? Maybe I'll stand pat at 2. Zion falls, which he has before. I'll take Zion. If Ja Morant falls, I'll take Ja. That's actually cool with me. That's not David Fizdale, but it says David Fizdale. Goodbye. We're moving on. All right, so we've signed Steve Kerr a couple times now. I'll try to lay off from that. Greg Popovich is here. I don't know why he'd have any interest in come coaching this shit show, but I would be remiss if I didn't offer him a contract. Same thing with Mr. Mike Stauffer, and as you can see, Mr. Jacob Underwood doesn't have a single offer, so, hypothetically anyways, we should be able to get him if all things don't go well. Okay, well, Popovich and Stauffer are tentative, meaning they're just going to decline. That's always what it means. And then Underwood is going to accept, which I'm very excited about. Do these guys not? Okay. I think they kind of look similar. Let's head up to the draft. We decided that we wanted to stand pat at number 2, which I think does make a lot of sense for us because, point guard is a big, kind of position of need for us right now. So that's actually fine with me. And then I will draft somebody in round 2 just because the pick is pretty high. And of course, we stink right now. So let's see. Who are the Chicago Bulls going to take number 1 overall? I am assuming it is going to be Zion. Moment of truth. They take Zion. All right, that's fine. It would have been great to have Zion, but we obviously all know how great of a player Ja Morant is anyways, and I think this pick makes a lot of sense for us. So Ja Morant, welcome to New York. Now we're going to send him all the way up to round 2 and just see who's available for us here. A guy like Keldon Johnson sitting here. I've passed on him a couple times. I see Jordan Poole also sitting here. From a prospect ranking perspective, it probably makes the most sense to take Johnson. So that's what I'm going to do. Keldon Johnson, welcome to New York. All right, 2 pretty good NBA players, I would say. Ja Morant's an 80 overall. Johnson's a 71, so certainly some need for some development there. This is going to be a very, very big free agency for us, right? This is Kevin Durant. This is Kyrie Irving. I don't know if we're going to land one. I don't know if we're going to land both or neither. There's certainly all of which are possibilities that are on the board right now. But we should have some spending money. I just want to see, do we have any really bad... Okay, we have a few. I'd like to first and foremost move off the contracts of Evan Turner and Courtney Lee, and then probably Damian Dotson as well, along with maybe Knox and Ntilikina. I mean, these guys just aren't really good. So, I know Knox had a great season for us, but you get my point. Let's see what we got. I am looking for... Wow, okay. I don't know why you're doing that, but I will certainly take it. And then Courtney Lee. See, this is some of the problems with 2K. I know I've talked about this a million times, but like the Evan Turner and Courtney Lee contracts are not positive assets, right? They should be negative assets. I should not be getting first-round picks for them. I should have to give up a first-round pick to get rid of them. But that's 2K logic for you. That is something that is probably never going to change. So Dotson's going to go as well. He was never going to be, a serious contributor on this team whatsoever. So let's just maybe move him to the San Antonio Spurs. We do get Chimezie Metu back in this deal. Also a player who I don't really think's ever going to play. So just draft picks. Wow, Jesus Christ. Okay. Now we have money. We have serious spending money right now, and I would be remiss if I did not offer, some of these superstar players any sort of contract. So I'm going to take this a little bit of a safe approach, right? I don't want to be completely idiotic in the way I do this because I want to make sure I get at least one of these guys, right? I do not want to miss out on everybody completely and then just screw myself. So I just want to, do we have any bird rights on anybody here? We don't. So I'm going to offer Kevin Durant. I know he has 11 offers. He has 5 real offers. I don't know how much the New York thing is going to play into it, but I'm going to give him a max and do this. And then I can see that it looks like we are not even close to the top of his list, which makes sense. We just won 20 games. And then I think my next step into this is Kawhi Leonard only has one other offer. I think it makes sense just because he is a better player than Kyrie Irving, and we just did draft a point guard. So Kawhi Leonard makes sense from an offer, just from a perspective of who I should try to get. And then I think the final guy I'm going to offer will be Jimmy Butler. So let's try to pay Kawhi Leonard. How much is he getting offered by Sacramento? I don't know why the hell he'd want to go to Sacramento anyways, but 141 divided by 4 is about $35.25 million a year. And it's not even letting me go that high, so maybe I just have no shot. And then my final player is going to be Jimmy Butler. I'm just going to make sure I get somebody from this equation. So let's see. Do we get anybody? Okay, we get both Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler. Beautiful. All right, you know what? Kevin Durant was a little far-fetched. But ultimately, getting two really, really good players here in Kawhi and Jimmy is something that we desperately needed. Kevin Durant goes to Phoenix. That's a little that's just funny. I don't know. All right. I'm obviously very excited about this. We now have 4 out of 5 of our starters moving forward, and I would certainly still like to figure out a shooting guard for this team. A guy like Danny Green. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope honestly could not be a bad fit. I think he actually makes a decent amount of sense for this group. So welcome to the team, KCP. Oh, wait. I didn't need a shooting guard. Fuck. I needed a fucking center. I am an idiot. Well, you know what? At least we picked up a really good 6th man, I guess, in KCP. And you know what? Maybe we'll just let Mitchell Robinson kind of run with it. You know, maybe we'll go ahead and sign a guy like Alex Len to be the backup. Because honestly, Robinson wasn't terrible. Just the overall isn't really there. I mean, his numbers all across the board, if you take a look at him, he was about 9 and 10. That's actually really not that bad. I mean, the field goal percentage for a guy who's 7 feet isn't great, but I can live with it. About 2 blocks a game as well. So, you know what? I know the overall sucks, but we're going to let Mitch kind of ride it out. At this point in time, we are going to... What actually happens to Keldon Johnson if I move him to the power forward? I think it doesn't really change. Knox goes down. You know what? Let's play Keldon Johnson at the 4. I know he's undersized, but who cares? Who really cares at this point? We're probably not going to be amazing next season, but I do think we can be somewhat competitive. I'm good with it. I'll see you guys at the start of year number 2. So it's not Zion, Kyrie, and KD, but it is Ja, it is Jimmy, and it is Kawhi. It feels like that's a pretty good kind of replacement option for what we were kind of initially anticipating. Of course, things don't always go according to plan, like today's video didn't, but we still kind of landed on our feet, and I think this team could actually be pretty good. You know, are we contending? I don't know if we're quite there yet, but the East isn't great, and we have 2 superstars on this team, so here goes nothing. It's Ja Morant, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Aaron Gordon, and Mitchell Robinson. Good to see Mitch's overall going up a few again. Had a fantastic rookie season for us, so very excited about what year 2 could be. And then we actually did a pretty decent job of filling out the bench. Got a really solid 6-man option here in KCP. Frank Ntilikina's overall is actually developing quite nicely as he slides into a bench role behind Ja Morant. Got Kevin Knox at a 78 overall. Certainly not a bad option after he averaged 18 points a game his rookie season, so I'll live with it. And then you got Alex Len and Keldon Johnson, who has a 70 overall. So the lower end of the bench isn't great by any means, and certainly there's maybe 1 or 2 starters that are not hindering us, but not as great as some of the other guys. You get my point. This team should be competitive. I would like to be a top 5 seed, and hopefully that happens. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 2. We overachieved. We 1,000% overachieved. Well, I would say we overachieved, and I'm going to take it. 59 and 23 was the record. Obviously, compared to where we were at just 1 season ago, I'm definitely going to live with it. I will. Giannis is your MVP. Zion Williamson, as he went number 1 overall to Chicago, wins Rookie of the Year. CP3 is now a backup point guard. Actually, wait, he went back. He got traded back to the... I don't know. Giannis, your D-boy. Harry Giles, most improved. I thought this guy was going to be really good. And then whoever that is, pretending to be Billy Donovan, that's your Coach of the Year. God, I love these fake coaches with real names. It is so great. All right, standings times. We are the 1 seed here in the East, which is obviously great. It is quite the turnaround. Not quite worst to first, but it's pretty damn close. And we're feeling pretty good right now. Let's dive into some numbers real quick. See how everybody kind of played across the board. Kawhi and Jimmy were fantastic. Ja Morant, pretty solid rookie campaign. About 14, 3, and 5. I can definitely live with that. Aaron Gordon, KCP, Knox, Robinson, Ntilikina, Johnson, and then Alex Len. Rebounds per game was Mitch, and then assists was Jimmy Butler. So first round of the playoffs, we do have the Cleveland Cavaliers. No more LeBron James. How was this team in the playoffs? Respectfully, of course. I'm just okay. Thank you. Went to 6. That's a little concerning. I don't know. Here are the Indiana Pacers. Prime Victor Oladipo was a sight to see. They added Tobias Harris here as well. You got him and Bojan. You got Sabonis, Miles Turner coming off the bench. This is obviously prior to the Sabonis for Halliburton trade, but they're still a pretty good team as they're up 3-1 on us, and we just lost in 5. We lost in 5, and a little disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought we had the talent to beat them. Jimmy and Kawhi were pretty solid, and really doesn't look like anybody else played crazy below where they were in the regular season. It just looks like maybe we just got outplayed. So, you got to tip your cap and move on. Russell Westbrook Finals MVP. Good to see Russ getting a ring. Okay, it is time to head into the final season. Obviously, we have some big decisions to make in terms of, where this team is at. Our front court especially, do we need to make an upgrade? Do we not? We'll see. Conference-based playoffs and 2 extra teams. What? Conference-based playoffs. That's what we already have, right? Until the finals. With 2 extra teams and a single... Is this the plan? I'm going to assume it's the plan. I think that's technically, I don't know. Draft lottery. Do we trade for any picks that could put us in a spot to have another high selection? Does not look like it, unfortunately. It is the Grizzlies, Hornets, Mavericks, Clippers, and Timberwolves. All right, we are good with the job Jacob Underwood did, even if we maybe came up a little short in the playoffs. That's fine. I'm still happy with the season we had. And then it is now draft time. We have 17 from Cleveland. We have 22 from Portland. We have 19 of our own. So certainly a couple different paths we can explore here. I am open to all and any options. And so I'll see you guys with whatever's next. Some of you might not like this, but I think Draymond Green would be a really good fit for this team. He's a guy who can obviously facilitate the basketball. He can rebound. He does a lot of really good things that don't always show up on the stat sheets as well. So I'd like to add him to this team on top of the fact that he is 8 overalls higher than Aaron Gordon. There's nothing wrong with Aaron Gordon or the way he played, but that overall isn't really jumping at all, and I need an upgrade. So let's see. Draymond Green. I don't really need any of these picks. They're not really going to benefit us too much in a long-term perspective, so you can just kind of take whatever you want as we head into the final season, and they agree. All right, Draymond Green, welcome to New York. Obviously excited to have a new power forward that is an 87-plus overall. I mean, coming off a year last year with about 10, 9.5, and 7 with 1.5 steals and 1.5 blocks. I mean, the shooting splits are not great by any sense of the imagination, but Draymond Green's a good player. And if you don't think Draymond Green was one of the biggest keys to the Warriors dynasty, you just do not understand the sport of basketball. So that's cool with me. David Nwaba will not be qualified. We are now entering a not-so-great free agency class, so I am very happy that we spent our money when we did. The best unrestricted free agent here is Danilo Gallinari, and all due respect to Gallo, he is certainly somebody I did not want to spend my money on. So I'm happy we did spend it last offseason. At this point in time, we have to decide, do we need one more upgrade on this team? I don't think that's completely out of the question, but I also don't want to jump the gun on anything too crazy. So I don't know, hang with me. Jared Allen is up to an 84 overall already. I do not want to move on from Mitchell Robinson, but I think Jared Allen would be a nice upgrade ahead of Mitch. And it's not like Mitch was even playing bad. He was filling the role he was kind of designed to be in very, very well. But ultimately, the overall upgrades help quite a bit. I'm sure many of you are aware of that. And this is one I'd like to make. Kevin Knox has filled his role, I guess, and he's a decent enough overall. And we're just at the point where we're looking for an upgrade. So we got a bunch of first-round picks, and it only takes 2. Wow, that's a surprise. So 2 really good 22-year-old centers. Obviously, just 8 overalls higher here with Jared Allen is hopefully going to benefit this team quite a bit. Now we do need to replace Kevin Knox and find ourselves a new backup small forward. A guy like Harrison Barnes, I think, would honestly be perfect, not asking for crazy money, and welcome to the team. All right, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to do. I think there's a couple other moves I could consider, but, we've really improved this bench, and, maybe there's a Keldon Johnson move just to get, a little bit better. Is there any guys here? Yeah, like Damari Carroll. You know what? No. I think Keldon Johnson actually kind of fit what we were looking for well. I don't know if you can look at his per 36 and really take anything from it because those aren't exactly accurate, but for what we were kind of hoping for 10 minutes a night, all things considered, I can live with it. So that's fine by me. Maybe it goes up to a 74 overall. I'd be cool with that. This team is significantly improved. We just obviously exited the playoffs, maybe one round too early from where our ceiling was. So I'm fine with it. We've made the upgrades we wanted to. I'll see you guys at the start of the third and final regular season. As we head into the third and final regular season, the biggest thing that immediately jumps out at me is Jimmy Butler's overall going down quite a bit. It's obviously something that's a little bit concerning as he's, 85, 86 overall after having a pretty solid season last year. I guess that's just 2K on its bullshit, but it's unfortunate nonetheless. But this team is still really good. There's really no cause for concern. It's just it's frustrating, I would say. So John Morant, Jimmy Butler still going to be my backcourt here. You got Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green, Jared Allen. Obviously, these two are a new front court and a front court that I am very, very confident in. Bench unit, KCP will remain my 6-man. You got Frank Ntilikina behind him. Mitchell Robinson now slides into a backup center role. We signed Harrison Barnes to be a 12-minute per game backup small forward, veteran presence, whatever you want to call him. And then Keldon Johnson, who unfortunately hasn't shot up a ton in the overall department, but is a serviceable 10th and final man. So that is the team heading into, I guess, what you consider a championship or bust final regular season, but this team is very, very good, and I expect to be, the 1 seed again, hopefully have a long playoff run. I will see you guys at the end of the final regular season. Such a fantastic way to wrap up our final regular season. Not only does Kawhi Leonard win an MVP award, but we go 71-11. Obviously, our best record yet. And we are hoping this man can carry us to a championship. That would be very, very nice. But insane numbers all across the board for Kawhi. Very happy he is here in a uniform. Anthony Edwards, your rookie of the year. He is a Memphis Grizzly. That's insane. CP3, 6th man of the year once again. I don't really know. Giannis, your D-boy. Sabonis now in Miami, most improved player. And Jacob Underwood, our head coach, does win coach of the year. So 1 seed is obviously a safe assumption here. We were 11 games up on Toronto, who did win 60 games. And then here's a look at the Western Conference. All right, maybe the East is a little better this time. All right, here are the numbers all across the board. We're led in scoring by Kawhi. He won an MVP. Jimmy Butler, John Morant, Allen, KCP, Draymond, Barnes, Ntilikina, Robinson, and Johnson. Rebounds per game was Jared Allen, and then assists was Draymond. So let's do it. Playoffs, round one. It is us and the Orlando Magic. Darius Garland, James Harden. Okay, so James Harden has found himself a new team. He is the 99 overall, so maybe, it's fair to... Well, is he the best player? Kawhi just won an MVP. We sweep them pretty easily. Now the team that beat us last year, they no longer have Sabonis, but everybody else is here. They got Rondion Kurucs in their starting lineup. That is not a name I have heard in a minute. I don't know why Bogdanovic is coming off the bench, but fine by me. We quickly go up 2-0 against Indiana, make it 3-0, and make it a clean sweep. We enter the Eastern Conference Finals, a perfect 8-0, and we are looking to make it all the way to the NBA Finals. So this Toronto team is very, very good. There's nothing about that says otherwise, and I'd like to beat them. So let's see if we can keep this run going. Up 3-0, and we sweep. We've yet to lose a playoff game, as we are now taking on the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. The duo of Russ and PG-13 did not last as long as I wish it did. They were a fun team. Paul George was so damn good that year, and we finally do lose. Oh, come on. Don't do this now. Okay, now back to 2-2. Now up 3-2, and after losing the first two, we end up winning 4 straight, and Kawhi Leonard's your Finals MVP. Such a beautiful way to wrap up this video. We started this off with, a 77 overall, Tim Hardaway Jr. being our best player, and ended up having, I guess you can call it a super team if you want, but it was a really, really balanced team. I think a lot of guys were really solid two-way players. Actually, everybody on this team is pretty much a solid two-way player, but I was happy. I'm very happy with the result. Obviously, this one was a lot of work. This was one of the worst teams in the league. Actually, they were record-wise the worst team in the league, so I know a lot of you want me to rebuild bad teams, and here you go. This is what happens. So I've loved doing rebuilds with this file, this 2018, 2019 kind of year when we kick it off. It was a much different time in the NBA, and it was a very fun time, and I will say that. So, of course, I'm open to doing other years. It's just I have to find for every single time. Like, if somebody's like, hey, do a 2014, Cavs rebuild or whatever. I have to go hunt that roster down, and it takes a long time, but once I do find one, I stick with it. That's why you've seen 2 rebuilds with this roster already this week. So let me know anything else you want to see down below in the comment section. It is a strange time right now, but we are waiting for the offseason, and I'm very excited for the offseason. I hope you guys are as well. So that is it for me. This one was an absolute blast. I hope you guys enjoyed, especially New York Knicks fans, but you guys are in a pretty good spot right now. So that's it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.